what you're all thinking. This guy is way too young to be father of the bride. Okay. I mean, that would be a weird conception. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for coming. The real father of the bride, as you know, is sat here, Peter. And Peter has asked me if I could do the speech for him. Understandably, public speaking is a traumatic thing for most people, and it's my pleasure to do so. So I hope I can deliver it as well as he's written it. Strangely enough, earlier this week I was stood up in front of 450 financial services people in London, talking work things, and I was there for an hour, and it was the most unpleasant audience I've ever had. They were horrible. They gave me a really, really tough time, and I thought to myself afterwards, what a load of bankers they were. So happily, I think I've got a tame audience, apart from Ian, who might throw a few hits. A tame audience and a lovely audience. So I hope I'm going to deliver the speech that Peter would like to have said, and I'm going to do it. So, firstly, I'd like to welcome to the family Russ's parents, both Sheila and Phil, and sister Bev, and her husband Phil too. And of course, Russ's daughters Emma, Lindsay and Laura, and the pride of Russ's eye, which is his grandchildren, which are sadly, I think they've gone back for a kip somewhere, Emily and Bobby, and together with Lucy, which is Lynda's sister, and me, who's her husband, and my Miles, which is, as Peter says here, is a very handsome grandson, and you can tell who he takes after, can't you? Certainly not me. I'd also like to welcome all the family and friends here as well. You know, thank you for all taking time to come. We hope that you've enjoyed the occasion so far, and of course we all want to see you dancing later on to the disco by Liam. It's not mine, but Peter's second time as father of the bride, and on the first time I was quite a bit younger, and so was the groom as well. But it's still as sentimental the second time around. Lynda is, as I'm sure you'll all agree, looking beautiful. And more importantly, she looks radiantly happy, which I'm sure that's down to this man who's sat there. Yes. And long may that continue, I'm sure it will. She comes home from work to go to Peter's and Margaret's house every lunchtime. And she and her mum, lately, as you can imagine, have been talking weddings every single day, in finite detail. So Peter makes a quick exit to the kitchen to brew up and keep the well out of the way, the whole thing, which is totally understandable. We've waited quite a long time for this day to happen, and we're so glad that she's now met Mr. Right. They do make a lovely couple, as I'm sure you'll agree, and we know that Russ will make her a happy lady in life. I'm so pleased that Russ is a good DIY man. When Lynda had her own house, she officially declared me, meaning Peter, as a project manager, which was a good job given I was retired. I cycle there every day, and she saw to it that I was one of the busiest people ever. So it's good to know that Russ is around, so Peter can take a break from all of that. On a Saturday, supposedly on his day off, the phone would go, and it would be Lynda on the other end, saying, "Dad, can you come around and and put some handles on a few doors for me. Oh, and by the way, whilst you're there, could you actually put the doors up for me? So you can see how it sort of transpired. He was rushed off his feet. So to a day, it doesn't feel like I'm losing a daughter. It feels like I'm gaining a son. And a painter, and a decorator, and a jobman, and a private taxi driver. We first met Russ on mine and my late twin brother Alf's birthday. It was a lovely day, and we were all enjoying our buffet in the garden. Russ arrived at Lynda, so the poor guy was thrown right in at the deep end with all of our family members there. The men went off to the park to have a game of football. Yeah, really remember that. Yeah, and Russ joined in straight away. And Miles said that Russ actually played like Vincent Company in his current form. Russ was really pleasant and really helpful, and we really enjoyed his company, and we knew then that these two were going to hit it off. Margaret and I welcomed Russ into our family. He has helped us all out along with Barry now that I'm an old man. So now I have two son-in-laws that I can depend on in my later years. The only trouble is, one supports one of the most successful clubs from Merseyside, and the other one's a City fan. And with me being a Man United fan, that makes things rather awkward. But you can't have it always, and we each respect each other's teams, but only if Man United win. Margaret and I celebrated our golden wedding anniversary here, so I think that needs to take. And we'll have really happy memories of our golden and Lynda and Russ's weddings. Luckily, I'm still alive and kicking, so good on you, Lynda and Russ. Now, before I go, so that concludes Peter's words. I couldn't miss the opportunity to go my own words in here. And I've waited a long time to do this. I promised Lynda yesterday that I wouldn't mention her being my landlady. Well, I'm going to break that promise right here and right now. I'll start with the first night I ever stayed. Paid for, by the way, so I'm paying Lynda.
We will point out that Lucy stayed in the house, and it would be important to point out.
Absolutely. So my first night in Lynda's house with Lucy, I was awoken by the most horrible sound I've ever heard.
Oh, yes, I know.
It was like high-pitched shrill. I couldn't work out what the hell it was. It wasn't human. It had no rhythm. It had no tone. It was bizarre. It could have smashed all the windows. And for anyone who's ever heard Lynda sing, you'll know exactly what I mean. Then there was the Hoover incident. I'll never forget the Hoover incident. Lynda, being the kind-hearted and giving landlady that she was, she didn't allow us to have any lights on. The moment you turn the light on, she'd be there to turn it off again. Thrift wasn't the word with Lynda. So picture the scene. There was I'd gone into the toilet with the lights on, which is at the top of the stairs, lights on. I come out to the lights off. Total darkness. And if anyone's ever lived in a 2 up, 2 down, you'll know it's a very narrow hallway, very narrow upstairs, really steep stairs. So, and it was at that point I met the Hoover at the top of the stairs. And the Hoover decided to not let me pass. And the next 3 seconds were quite a nice affair, almost feeling like you were flying. And it was until I crashed at the bottom of the stairs that these two evil demons made such fun of me lying there, almost in pieces, with a broken watch, lying there thinking I'd died and gone to heaven. So Lynda, as part of your wedding presents, I've reimbursed myself the cost of the watch to fix on that night. I can literally tell you 1,000 stories about living with Lynda. It's quite an eye-opener. I'm sure Russ will tell you 1,000 stories in a few moments. But little Miles, who was probably only 3, got all of that back. He paid for all of my misery of living with Lynda. Because when we were on holiday in Spain, I think we went to Calidor. So anyone who knows Lynda knows that when she does something, she doesn't do anything by half. So we were on holiday and we had jeans and t-shirts on. Joan Collins, however, rocked up, done up to the nines and had the biggest, floppiest hat you've ever seen in your life, which is fine. So Miles, who was about 3 at the time, decided that he was going to just pull this little handle, which was attached to a massive umbrella, probably twice the size of this table. And let's just say that the umbrella engulfed Lynda so much that it made the hat look like an insignificant item of clothing on her. It was a great moment, such a defining moment, and it was one of those things that you had to be there to see it. So Russ, all I've got to say is well done, good luck, you might need it. And with that, I'd like to raise a toast. So to the happy couple, Lynda and Russ.
Lynda.
Well done. It's me done.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce Russ.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Midland Hotel on this wonderful occasion, our wedding. On behalf of Lynda and myself, I'm delighted to respond. Firstly, a sincere thank you to Margaret and Peter for all the help and support they have given during the wedding plans and organisation. But for me personally, for making me feel so welcome in their home. They have made me feel part of the family and at ease from the very first moment. It truly is an honour to have you as part of my family. But I think most importantly, for trusting me with Lynda's hand. And for that, I thank you both. Obviously, our thanks also to Barry for his kind words on behalf of my wife's father. Kind words. We both thank yourself and Lucy for so much. To Miles, the best man's assistant, what can I say? What can I say? You did a great job in your reading, son. We really appreciated it. And I'm as proud as Lynda is to have you as my nephew too. Love is actually Lynda's favourite written work. She had it on a bedroom wall as a girl, and I'm sure she's going to remind me of the words on a regular basis. I'm sure she will. Thank you to all the extended family, Janice, Roger, Simon, Kirsty, who travelled all the way from Bournemouth, Bert, Dorothy, Gary, Vivian and Lynda, who've travelled from Cornwall to be with us. Thank you very much and welcome. Mum and Dad, thank you too for the efforts and the organisation and for the help throughout my life, as well as recently with Lynda. I know Barry has already painted the picture. I know that they really do truly see her as a daughter. The happy holidays, the time they've selflessly given us both. It's fair to say they've had a lot to put up with during my younger days, with the crazy antics and the goings-on. They are numerous, and I'm sure somehow that Guy is going to have many of them in store for us later. The most important thing is that their door as well as Margaret Peters, has always been open to us both, and words can never confirm the debt of thanks we owe to them. Lynda has asked that she would also like to say a special thank you to her next door neighbours, Auntie Marcia and Uncle Mike, who've always been a very important part of her life. And she has very many happy memories of all the time she spent next door with them as a young girl. In addition to the distinguished company of my best man, it would be remiss if I didn't mention Uncle Michael by his formal title, and that's Uncle Michael Kenny, MBE. And I'd like to share the amazing fact that Uncle Mike is actually Britain's most successful Olympian. He competed as a swimmer in the Paralympic Games at Toronto, Arnhem, New York, Stoke Mandeville and Seoul. His career was from 1976 to 1988, and he won an eye-watering 16 gold medals for his country, as well as and I'm sure he'll be happy to show you. But on my wife's behalf, I thank you too. Ladies and gentlemen, the bridesmaids. I know my opinion is always going to be biased, as they are my lovely daughters. But even I am stunned at how marvellous they look today. We would also include Emma equally in our thanks for all the help that they have happily given my beautiful wife. We're also lucky to have two smashing grandchildren who really do mean the world to both of us. And I'm sure you'll agree that little Millie looks absolutely adorable as a flower girl today. We've both been very lucky to have such a great and diverse team of friends. They've always meant a great deal to us both, and we're touched that you're here to share our special day. Thanks to Katie for doing her reading. She truly has the best speaking voice I have ever known. For me personally, it was always going to be a difficult choice to separate one of my close friends to be the best man, but I now have a great and true friend who stood with me today. Guy really did look after us in top form during the stag party, even though he did allow some blatant cheating in the Grand Prix, in the go-kart Grand Prix. He got us home safe and sound in the evening, worse for wear, but we were safe and sound. I've known Guy for the vast majority of my life, and he's been an ever-present rock, not just to me, but to all of the lads. Guy, as you can see, is an officer in Her Majesty's Army, and he joined straight from school. He has many service medals, including Sierra Leone, and he's just returned from his second stint in Afghanistan. So I'm sure we would all like to thank him for his service. As to whether my opinion of his honourable status remains intact, I'm going to wait until after his speech. We would also like to thank Rob, who designed the invites, the RSVPs, the table plans and the place cards. He really has the patience of a saint. With my darling wife's indecision on the final drafts, etc., I wasn't going to mention Bridezilla, which was usually the topic of the emails back and forth, but Rob, thank you very much. When I thought about the words that I wanted to say about Lynda, that was when I stalled to find the right ones. Words, as we all know, are easy to say and they're very quick to forget. We have both taken a while to find the place we wanted our lives to be. Family, friends, and the sure knowledge that where I go, she goes too, seem to sum it up for me. We've been together for 4 years, and it is absolutely no cliche that they have been the best years of my life so far, and Lynda's, I'm sure. Lynda has transformed our home for the better, with her touches, a fantastic taste, and a flair. She has a keen eye, and she has a wagging finger to match. During the development of our home, she has been keen to be fully involved with the physical work, and she's been right there to point out any cock-ups I might have made look like I'm going to make, or I'm likely to make in the future. But joking aside, Lynda has changed my world, and as soon as we were sure, she sold her home to make a new one with me. She took on the role with myself and with the girls with natural ease, and I'm sure 4 years ago she would never have expected to be a wife, an auntie, a best friend to the girls, and a grandma too. My nickname for her is Laughing Lynda, and that's because she has kind eyes and a lovely way. Today, above all days, she just looks beautiful. We do have some presentations we'd like to make, so if you could indulge us while we do that. You're going to have to help me in that. Margaret and Peter. I do promise I will look after her, as I promised to you that I would from the very first moment. It goes without saying. I wasn't going to. To my mum and dad. For everything. You always do. Guy. I wasn't going to kiss you, Guy. I can absolutely. Easy target.
Don't mind.
Miles, best man's assistant. Rob, thank you for so much effort. I know you've got a lot in. Really do appreciate it. Pleasure. Laura and Lindsay. Stunning bridesmaids, but you do come from good stock. And this is Dan as well. I did think I would have to introduce Dan. He's come late, but we're glad to have him with us. And Lucy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the time I know you've all been waiting for. It's the response from the best man. But before I hand you over into his very capable hands, I think it's vital that I point out that although he may appear as an upright military officer, he has been known to confuse fact with fantasy. And I feel that a large part of his speech this afternoon very well may be the product of his renowned imagination for the untrue, and therefore cannot be believed. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Guy Davis, the best man.
not going to start taking selfies. I'm not texting, okay? I've just been uber modern and decided to do my speech on this because I've changed it quite a few times. Russell, well, you've made the most of your 5 minutes of speech there, very well said. Now, as a married man, it is the last time that you'll get to say anything uninterrupted. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and friends. For those who don't know me, my name's Guy, and clearly I am the best man. And to be given such an honour amongst such a celebrated cast of gentlemen, fine gentlemen and friends is truly a great honour. And it's worthy of note, I think, that so many of his friends are actually called Mike. I trust you've all enjoyed the day so far. I think you all agree that the bridesmaids absolutely look gorgeous, and Lynda, if you don't mind me saying, you look stunning too. And Russell, you just look stunned.
If I can interrupt you, Guy, I do apologise. I've just realised that I've completely forgotten to propose my toast to the bridesmaids. So, if you can excuse me while I start the game, it is my absolute pleasure to propose a toast on behalf of the bride's father. I'm responding. And ladies and gentlemen, the toast is the bridesmaids. I apologise profusely for my faux pas. I am sorry, guys.
Yeah, we just did that in nick of time.
Excellent, yeah. Well, I would have deserved it.
Clearly so worried about my own speech that I forgot to steer it in the right direction. But anyway, so as the tradition goes, so first, and while I'm in good favour, I would like to say on behalf of the bridesmaids, Lynda, Lindsay and Laura, thank you very much for the kind words that you kindly remembered to say. They are genuinely very much appreciated. As the tradition goes then, clearly I am speaking on behalf of bridesmaids, though I'm not sure they really deserve it, because it was only a couple of weeks ago when I confided with Lindsay that I was actually quite nervous about this significant moment in the day. And Lindsay took no time to impress upon me just how important this occasion was, just how much everyone was looking forward to it, and warned me not to say anything inappropriate. So thank you for piling the pressure on. It wasn't difficult enough. I would also like to say to both parents here today, thank you very much on behalf of everyone here for sharing this wonderful occasion. It's been a truly beautiful day. I'm sure you're very proud of these two young lovebirds. I would also like to briefly extend my regards to someone who boasts more medals than I do. As we say, Mike, another Mike in the audience, Paralympian and 16 times gold medal winner, Mike Kennett. I salute you. Okay, right. Already, as I can see some of you are starting to settle into your chairs and you're starting to think this is going to be a long speech. And for those of you who are thinking, I hope it's a short one, I've got some good news. Okay, it was only the other day we turned up nice and early to Russell and Lynda's, and Lynda seemed to be comforting Russell. She was saying, don't worry, it's the quality counts, not how long you last. So I'm going to keep it short. For the benefit of those in the audience who don't know Russell quite as well as I do, what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and scrape beneath the surface. I'm going to try and expose a little bit of Russell. There is a danger, because I've known him that long, that this could turn into something like This Is Your Life, and certainly when I look around and we look at the family and friends, that he's certainly got enough people here who I'm sure have got their own fair share of good stories too.